I've been involved in this center for like properly since about 1992. I've been coming here well before like to Culture Week and to all the events that was here, to the bookshop, to the Culture Week. I teach in the Saturday school here as well. I was part of IOCC for like from 204 till a few months ago. So I was here for about 10 years, but doing volunteer work. So I'm part of PACM, part of the Guyanese Society. I was part of the IOCC. Well, initially I taught at the Saturday school when I was when I was working days, but because I was moved on to shifts, I worked probably for about 1 or 2 years, and then I went on shifts, so I couldn't do the Saturday school anymore. But I used to still come here and on a Saturday when I could to volunteer, help with the bookshop. Now that when did I start? All of my children came to Saturday school here. You know, they came to Saturday school here. They came to Culture Week. I think it helped them psychologically, mentally, spiritually, and culturally. It helped them to be what they are today, I think. So it helped me as well, because when I came here when I was about 14. It's the first time I came here to ask Mr. ALDRED for a book on Martin Luther King. And he told me that there's other leaders besides Martin Luther King. And he gave me a book on African leaders. Jean Jacques Dessalines, Toussaint Louverture, Malcolm X. I still got the book now. This is how he introduced us to the Guyanese Society, as I said. When PACM was restarted in this building in about 93, I was one of the people who was part of PACM. So PACM, as you know, is the Pan-African Congress, and it introduced Kwanzaa in this building, as Washi said before. Not only that, it was involved in the lectures and in public lectures to educate the adults about African culture and African history. Mr. Edward brought a number of speakers here, too many to name. I saw one of Kwame Ture before. He brought Ivan van Sertima from Guyana. Ivan van Sertima is a scholar that deals with African presence in America before Columbus. He's written a book, They Came Before Columbus. He's written a series of series of books called Journal of African Civilization, the presence of Africa in early Europe, early Asia, early America. So he brought Van Sertima, he brought Dr. Obati Shaka. Dr. Obati Shaka has written a number of books. He's written a book called The Art of Leadership, Volume 1 and Volume 2. He's written The Political Legacy of Malcolm X, one of the best books written about Malcolm X, I understand. So he came over a number of years. Dr. Obati Shaka, they said, is probably one of the third best organizer in the United States. There's Malcolm X, there's somebody else, and there's him. And he organized like 10,000 people to went against the most powerful bank in America, about jobs in the 1960s. So that was a friend of Nana Bonsu as well. He came here a number of times. There was Professor Jacob Carruthers, one of Baba's friends as well. Professor Jacob Carruthers written a book called Irritated Genie. Irritated Genie is about the Haitian Revolution. One of Nana's favorite quotes is by a voodoo priest who started the revolution in Haiti. His name is Bookman. And the quote is that this is in 1791, and he's telling the Africans in Haiti that they should throw away the image of the white man God and listen to, because all it brings is just tears, and they should listen to liberty that speaks in their heart. So this is one of Nana Bonsu's hero, Mr. Bookman, who started the revolution. They say he's a voodoo priest from Jamaica, probably came via Jamaica to Haiti. And they started the revolution. The revolution lasted 13 years. And they said this is one of the greatest wars up to the First and Second World War. And the slaves in Haiti, as you know, under Toussaint Louverture, Jean Jacques Dessalines, Henry Christophe, they started the revolution and they beat three of the mightiest nations in Europe, Britain, France, Spain. Yeah, those three nations. They beat Napoleon when Napoleon sent his best troop against these Africans, and these Africans were able to defeat Napoleon's army, and Haiti was declared the first independent country in the Western Hemisphere. No, actually second after the United States. And Haiti was independent in 1804. So from 1791 to 1884 to 1708, 13 years, there was a revolution that freed all the slaves in Haiti and they declared independent. Nana Bonsu also had Dr. Barishango. I don't know if anybody knows Dr. Barishango. He preaches about religion. He came here for a seminar. He did about a 2-day course on seminar. So he preaches about religion. And he's probably one of the best African historians about the source of the Bible, the African origin of the Bible, and so on. All of these great, I think Nana Bonsu knew some of the greatest African minds on the planet that is concerned with African history and culture. He knows Jacob Carruthers, as I mentioned before. He was an Egyptologist, historian, probably one of the second best African Egyptologists. He knew a guy called Theophile Abenga, and the greatest African scholar of all, Sheikh Anton Diop. I could name you plenty. Tony Martin, Professor Tony Martin from Trinidad, who's written about 7 or 8 books on Garvey, one of the leading scholars on Garvey, Professor Tony Martin. Nana Bonsu used to go chair all the meetings at ALD in Birmingham. ALD is one of the biggest Pan-African events in this country, probably in Europe. So sometimes you get over 1,000 people over 2 days, as Washi mentioned before. And he would chair these conferences, and he would invite the speakers for ALD to speak in Birmingham or wherever ALD was held in this country. I think he was self-confident, he was fearless, and he devoted his life for the liberation of African people. That's how I would summarize him. And I would summarize him as a scholar as well, because Nana Bonsu used to lecture at the university. And Nana Bonsu used to go to the lectures run by the extramural department at MMU, and we used to go there to listen to lectures on African culture and to challenge some of the professors who come with arguments about African culture. I remember I challenged a guy called Professor George Joseph on mathematics. Nana Bonsu probably was 4th grade educated, and he had the confidence to take on guys who were professors, yeah? So he knew his history anyway. He knew the history of African people for millenniums, so he had the confidence to do that. Most of the consciousness raising activity in Manchester was done through this centre, through the PACM with Nana Bonsu. As I mentioned, all the speakers that came here, Dale Jones, he deals with cultural bandit, how white people steal African culture, the music, everything, the cartoons, some of the things in the cartoons, like Bugs Bunny, Burr Rabbit, which is Hanan's story, which is Spider-Man. So he brought all of these African speakers, Wayne Chandler, Tony Martin, Professor Obati Shaka, Dr. Leonard Jeffries. I think the contribution is immeasurable, really.